Imagine waking up to find a massive chunk of your student debt erased. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, for millions of Americans, it sure seemed like that would happen anytime. Today, we're looking at the truth behind the student loan forgiveness programs under the Biden administration. When did it really begin? And why is this simple idea so wildly controversial? Stick around, because the reality behind the headlines might surprise you. Welcome to today's episode of Whispers of the White House. Welcome, wise listeners, to another episode of Controversy. This is going to be a good one, the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program. This isn't just about one administration. It's a story rooted in years of policy evolution, public debate, and the stark contrast between media narratives and lived realities. Okay, so first, let's talk about the origins of loan forgiveness programs, because they didn't start with the Biden administration. In fact, they've been around for years. Most notable is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, PSLF program. It was introduced as part of the College Cost Reduction and Access Act of 2007, signed into law by President George W. Bush. Brought forward by Representative George Miller, a Democrat from California, alongside other key supporters in the House and Senate who aimed to address the growing student debt crisis. The concept of PSLF was designed to incentivize careers in public service by offering student debt forgiveness to those who worked in qualifying public service jobs, such as in education, government, or nonprofit organizations. The rationale behind this program is twofold. First, it aims to encourage public service careers. Many graduates face high student debt, which often deters them from pursuing lower-paying public service roles. By forgiving loans after 10 years of service, the program seeks to attract and retain talent in these essential but underpaid sectors. Second, PSLF is meant to provide financial relief. The program offers loan forgiveness after 120 qualifying payments, approximately 10 years, with the goal of alleviating the burden of student loans for individuals who contribute to the public good. While the PSLF program was introduced with bipartisan support, its implementation over the years has been significantly criticized due to bureaucratic hurdles, poor communication, and high rejection rates for applicants. The next program is the Income-Driven Repayment Plan. The Income-Driven Repayment (IDR) program began in 1994 with the introduction of the Income Contingent Repayment (ICR) plan under President Bill Clinton's administration. Over time, additional plans like Income-Based Repayment (IBR) and Pay-As-You-Earn (PAYE) were introduced to offer more tailored options for borrowers based on their income levels. These plans allow borrowers to make monthly payments capped at a percentage of their discretionary income, with any remaining balance forgiven after 20 or 25 years of consistent repayment, depending on the specific plan. The program was designed to help borrowers with high debt-to-income ratios manage their loans without undue financial strain. The unfortunate part of this program is that often the interest rate is so high that the monthly payments don't even cover the accrued interest, so your debt just gets higher and you never pay towards principal. Then there's the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program. The Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program is another long-standing federal initiative aimed at providing student debt relief. Established as part of the Higher Education Amendments of 1998, this program is designed to incentivize teachers to work in low-income schools or educational service agencies, addressing teacher shortages in underserved areas. Under this program, eligible teachers can have up to $17,500 of their federal student loans forgiven after 5 consecutive years of full-time teaching in a qualifying school or agency. The amount forgiven depends on the subject taught. Highly qualified math, science, and special education teachers are eligible for the maximum amount, while other teachers may qualify for up to $5,000. The program is particularly valuable for early career teachers. Still, it has limitations, including the inability to stack this benefit with other forgiveness programs like PSLF for the same period of service. The last one we'll discuss is the National Health Service Corps, NHSC Loan Repayment Program. Established in 1972, this program has been a cornerstone of efforts to address healthcare shortages in underserved areas. It offers financial incentives to medical professionals, including doctors, nurses, dentists, and mental health practitioners who commit to working in federally designated health professional shortage areas, HPSAs. HPSAs include prisons, jails, very rural areas, or areas with high Medicare or Medicaid populations. It aims to alleviate the burden of student debt for healthcare providers while ensuring that communities with limited access to care receive the services they need. Under the NHSC program, eligible professionals can receive up to $50,000 in loan repayment for a 2-year full-time commitment in high-need areas. Part-time service options are also available with pro-rated repayment benefits. Many participants choose to extend their service beyond the initial term, allowing them to receive additional loan repayment assistance. This program is particularly attractive to recent graduates who want to reduce their student debt while gaining valuable experience in their field. These programs reflect a broader effort to address the student debt crisis by linking forgiveness to public service or income-based repayment models. By tackling the growing debt burden through targeted programs, these initiatives strive to balance financial relief for borrowers with broader societal benefits, such as improved access to public services and healthcare. So, if all these programs have been around for years, why is Biden getting the credit or being condemned for them? Well, during Biden's presidency, the focus on student debt relief has intensified, partly due to skyrocketing education costs and the economic burdens exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden campaigned on promises of addressing the crisis, but what's been delivered versus what was promised has been scrutinized left and right and misrepresented. First, we need to look at what's changed under Biden. The Biden administration has implemented several key reforms to simplify and expand student loan forgiveness programs, addressing both the needs of borrowers and systemic issues. One major initiative was the limited PSLF waiver, which allowed borrowers to retroactively qualify for public service loan forgiveness by counting payments that were previously ineligible, as well as simplifying the application process. This was a significant step toward rectifying long-standing administrative flaws. Additionally, the administration introduced adjustments to income-driven repayment (IDR) plans, ensuring that past payments, including those made during forbearance or deferment, could now count toward forgiveness. These reforms addressed the Department of Education's discovery that millions of borrowers were not receiving proper credit for qualifying payments due to oversight and bureaucratic errors. Biden also proposed broader debt relief, including forgiveness of $10,000 for most borrowers and $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. The goal behind this proposal was to provide economic relief post-pandemic, address disparities, and simplify a forgiveness program by doing a widespread forgiveness versus a complicated program. Alongside these efforts, the Fresh Start program provided a pathway for borrowers in default to regain good standing without the penalties typically associated with defaulted loans. In a further overhaul, Biden replaced the Repay plan with the Saving on a Valuable Education SAVE plan. This plan reduces monthly payments for many borrowers and ensures that unpaid interest does not accumulate as long as payments are made on time. These measures were designed to make repayment more manageable and prevent debt from ballooning over time. The administration also focused on programs supporting specific professions. For example, the National Health Service Corps (NHSC) program received an $800 million funding boost through the American Rescue Plan. This funding expanded loan repayment and scholarship opportunities for healthcare providers working in underserved areas, a move that addressed the healthcare workforce shortages highlighted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The enhanced program increased repayment amounts and broadened eligibility criteria, making it more attractive to a wider range of medical professionals. Collectively, these reforms demonstrate the Biden administration's dual approach, easing the immediate burden on borrowers while addressing critical societal needs such as equitable healthcare access and public service workforce retention. However, critics argue that these efforts still fall short of tackling deeper issues such as rising tuition costs and predatory lending practices, which continue to fuel the student debt crisis. So why the controversy? The controversy surrounding student loan forgiveness is multifaceted, with strong arguments from both supporters and critics. Critics often assert that forgiving student loans is fundamentally unfair to those who have already paid off their loans or chose not to borrow. Repaying student debt requires years of financial sacrifice for many, and the prospect of forgiveness for others can feel like an inequity. Similarly, individuals who avoided loans by choosing more affordable educational options or by foregoing college altogether may see such policies as favoring one group over others. Beyond issues of fairness, critics argue that widespread loan forgiveness is merely a band-aid solution that fails to address the root causes of the student debt crisis. The rising cost of tuition, stagnant wages, and the ever-growing reliance on borrowing for higher education are seen as systemic issues that forgiveness alone cannot fix. Without addressing these underlying problems, critics fear the crisis will repeat itself, with future borrowers once again accumulating unsustainable levels of debt. Some opponents also raise concerns about the economic implications of loan forgiveness. They argue that canceling large amounts of debt could add to the federal deficit or lead to inflationary pressures by increasing disposable income for millions of borrowers. Additionally, opponents worry about the precedent forgiveness could set, potentially encouraging future borrowers to take on debt with the expectation that it too will eventually be forgiven. On the other hand, proponents of forgiveness argue that these criticisms overlook the profound financial challenges faced by millions of borrowers. They highlight that debt disproportionately impacts low-income individuals and minorities, exacerbating economic and racial inequalities. While forgiveness may not address all systemic issues, supporters view it as an essential first step toward broader reform. The divide underscores the complexity of student debt as both a financial and political issue. Forgiveness programs must balance immediate relief for borrowers with long-term solutions to the broader structural challenges of higher education affordability. This tension is at the heart of the ongoing debate over student loan forgiveness. The media's role adds fuel to the fire. Depending on the outlet, forgiveness programs are either a lifeline for struggling Americans or an unjust handout. The reality, as usual, lies somewhere in between. Borrowers often face bureaucratic hurdles and inconsistent communication, leaving them frustrated despite the promise of relief. The media often presents student loan forgiveness as a sweeping, arbitrary handout, portraying it as a policy that indiscriminately cancels debt for all borrowers without consideration of merit or need. Headlines and sound bites frequently frame forgiveness as a political gimmick or a giveaway to those with degrees in fields like liberal arts or philosophy, feeding into stereotypes about useless degrees. In reality, loan forgiveness programs, such as PSLF and IDR, are carefully structured to benefit specific groups of borrowers, typically those in public service, healthcare, education, or other essential roles, as well as low-income individuals who struggle to repay their loans. When the media announces the amount of debt forgiven, it is often misunderstood. These figures represent the total amount forgiven for borrowers who met strict qualifications, such as working in underserved communities or public service for a decade, not an indiscriminate cancellation of loans for anyone with a degree. For example, the NNHSC loan repayment program focuses on healthcare professionals in areas with severe shortages, ensuring that the forgiveness aligns with tangible societal benefits. These programs are far from willy-nilly handouts. They require rigorous eligibility criteria, documented service, and often years of repayment. Adding to the confusion is the role of social media, which amplifies misconceptions. Viral posts often oversimplify or misrepresent forgiveness programs, leading many borrowers to believe they qualify when they do not, or conversely, causing those who are eligible to miss out due to misinformation. This widespread lack of understanding perpetuates frustration and skepticism, particularly for those navigating these complex systems. This contrast between media portrayals and borrowers' lived experiences underscores the need for clear and transparent communication from policymakers. Ensuring that borrowers understand what they qualify for and how to access it is critical to bridging the gap between public perception and the actual intent and outcomes of these programs. Student loan forgiveness is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It is a targeted effort designed to address specific needs while encouraging contributions to vital sectors of society. Student loan forgiveness is more than just a political talking point. It's a lifeline for millions of borrowers and a source of fierce debate about fairness, equity, and the future of higher education in America. And the media is only going to paint part of the picture. Well, that's all for today's episode of Whispers of the White House. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this helpful or know someone who would, share it and give us 5 stars. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, and as always, stay curious, stay kind, don't let politics steal your joy, and of course, stay wise.